My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC and RT appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. Please continue to sign the Chelsea Manning petition to pardon Chelsea Manning. My amazing subscribers, you are all amazing. It keeps the number of signatures on the petition keeps growing every day. Let's get it to 100,000 signatures. I know that we can do it. And thank you so much for the support. This is regarding, of course, a pardon or essentially commuting Chelsea Manning's sentence to time served. She is a whistleblower, and she's helped protect this nation through whistleblowing, just like Julian Assange deserves a pardon or deserves to be able to leave the Ecuadorian embassy and live his life. Edward Snowden, Jeffrey Sterling, Chelsea Manning, these are whistleblowers, and Julian Assange. So thank you so much for signing the petition and sharing it. I'm going to explain a couple things. So before we get to the WikiLeaks Yemen files, just out today, I'm going to explain something with all due respect to many of my amazing subscribers who just subscribed to my channel in a month before November 8th, a month before Election Day, or 2 months. I have 68,000 subscribers right now. If it goes to let's say there's 20,000 Trump supporters that subscribe to my channel who just can't stand me, who will in the future say, I'm unsubbing, H.A., I can't stand. With all due respect, I want you to stay. But if you have to go, I understand. I want everyone of all different political affiliations to subscribe to my channel. If you have to leave the channel or unsubscribe because I'm going to point out the hypocrisy in Trump's campaign, and I'll go ahead and do it, especially pertaining to Jill Stein's recount that's underway right now in Wisconsin. If you need to unsubscribe, do so. I want you to stay, but what can I do? Let's say my channel goes down to 30,000 subscribers. Let's say I had 38,000 Trump supporters. Let's say I had 40,000 Trump supporters and my channel goes to 20,000. I'm cool. I'm cool either way. So I don't really care if it goes to 1 million subscribers or back to 5,000. I'm going to be myself. And I'm just going to tell it the way I think it should be told. Now, a couple of issues, and I'll get to a very, very interesting comment from one Trump supporter asking me if I only vote for people who are Jewish. And that is obviously a ridiculous statement, even though Bernie and Jill are Jewish. Guess who else is Jewish, by the way? This is a message only to the extreme right or the extreme Trump supporters who would ask that type of question, who did in my last segment. Donald Trump's daughter and son-in-law keep kosher and are more religious than I am and are more religious than most Jews in America. So what does that tell you? Extreme, extreme, extreme right. Not even Trump. I wouldn't even say Trump supporter. I'll just say what they would refer to as alt-right, who always votes Republican. Okay, I'll get to that later. So that should be interesting. But really quickly, Jill Stein formally files for Wisconsin recount as fundraising effort passes $5 million. Number one, people are giving money. They're not. It's not like they're expecting Clinton winning. No, she's not going to win. Clinton will not win. So there's this irrational fear. The same irrational fear from Hillary bots are now the Trump bots. Oh my God, Stein, how dare she? This is horrible. Look, if you don't have enough political power, whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, if you are so afraid of losing that grip on power, like the the precious, the ring, then you have a problem in terms of your ideals and your value system. When I say that Trump had to pay $25 million because of his Trump University. What did I get from certain people? I got, well, you know, HA, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's just good business. Who cares? He's a billionaire. Okay, you completely disregard the 25 million. Stein raised, what, like 5 million for the recount? Do you think Scott Walker is preventing her or lifting a finger to do anything to stop this? No. He's the governor of Wisconsin. Just like with Trump, who won't say a dang word about Pizzagate. Why is that? Tell me why he won't. Tell me if the Pizzagate thing is this entire nefarious plot. I don't put it past Hillary, but I'm just saying it's interesting that Donald Trump isn't saying anything. It's interesting also that Donald Trump is saying that he won't go after the Clintons, or that he wants her to heal. He wants her to get better, Hillary, that she's been through a lot. He gave $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. So that's okay. Clinton Foundation, $100,000. Oh, that's fine. $25 million to the Trump University. Oh, that's fine. You know, that's good business. He won't say anything about Pizzagate. Well, how can he? He's not even president. He won't go after Hillary. Oh, well, he's not president, and you know he has bigger fish to fry now. All the excuses that I heard when I was going after Hillary, the same excuses. It's the dear leader Trump, dear leader Donald. We had dear leader Hillary, now we have dear leader Donald. And if you look at a political figure and as this person that could do no wrong, then the channel's not for you. And another thing, people say, "Oh, HA, why are you defending Jill Stein? What on earth is this woman doing that's so horrible? She wants a recount." The governor, there's a Republican governor in Michigan and a Republican governor in Wisconsin. What are they doing to stop the recounts? How about nothing? Just like what Donald Trump is doing to investigate the whole Pizzagate thing. Nothing. Just like what Donald Trump says he'll do to Clinton. Nothing. So all these people say, oh, you've lost credibility. But Donald Trump has not lost credibility. No, his credibility has increased because he actually went against his word. He promised to jail Clinton. He was the big tough guy. Oh, he was so tough on stage. You'd be in jail. So don't say I'm losing credibility and that you have to unsub, if perhaps there are certain people watching my channel. If you have to unsub because I'm going to call out Trump, that's fine. But understand that Jill Stein is not doing anything wrong. You can disagree with her, but it's not this nefarious plot. Jill Stein, Green Party candidate in the U.S. presidential election, formally filed a motion for a recount in Wisconsin on Friday as her funding effort for counting the votes, again in 3 states, passed $5 million. Wisconsin has a Republican governor. He hasn't even said a word about this. Why is that? And what are you worried about anyway? That suddenly the election is going to flip to Clinton? It's theoretically possible, but it won't happen. And if it does happen, all this talk about civil war, look what's happening to the Standing Rock Sioux with the water cannons and the rubber bullets, and Sophia Wilansky losing her arm almost, potentially losing her arm, and the attack dogs. Where are these people calling for civil war if Clinton becomes president because of the recount? Why aren't these people defending the Standing Rock Sioux from an obvious authoritarian government just setting attack dogs on these people with water hoses and freezing temperatures? Liberals at Slate don't care, and the same people at Breitbart don't care. So when you talk about left-right, it's not about left-right. It's about power. And if somebody like Jill Stein makes people in power fear that they might lose that power, that's good. That's good. You can call it a PR stunt or whatever you want to call it, but Donald Trump's entire life has been a giant PR stunt. The Clinton Foundation is a money laundering organization with $156 million going through 85 people simply for access. Trump spending $25 million to go ahead and pay off to pay people from the Trump University because he defrauded them. So my thing is, I'll read. As more money flooded in for her effort, which aims to fund recounts in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all states where Donald Trump narrowly beat Hillary Clinton, she admitted she had no hard evidence of fraud, but said the systems were vulnerable. This is not about rigging the election. Jill Stein doesn't like Clinton. So all this stuff, oh, it's this nefarious plot, and she's in cahoots with Hillary, and no, they're not. The DNC hates the Green Party. So, I mean, get the story straight. The DNC does not like the DNC hates other Democrats. Cheated Bernie Sanders. We know this from WikiLeaks. Her campaign team said it would formally file in Wisconsin before the 5 p.m. Eastern deadline to do so. The recount motion deadlines for the 2 other states are next week. Less than half an hour before the deadline, the Wisconsin Election Board Commission confirmed it had received the recount petition. Okay, and you don't hear the Republican Party in Wisconsin saying a word. You don't hear the Republican governor, Scott Walker, in Wisconsin saying a word. Yet it's big bad Jill Stein, who doesn't have the billions that Trump has or that Bill and Hillary have. But because you fear a loss of power, oh my God. So in that way, it's good. In that way, it's good. Because if there's no plan other than crying and saying civil war and then going just batty with what if the system is rigged and Trump is not president anymore? Well, if they find out that there's election fraud and Trump won in those states because of fraud, then what? Then another recount? Maybe. It's not going to happen anyway. The point is, the 2 parties don't want a third party in the spotlight. That's essentially what it is. But I've spent enough on that. If you have to unsub, that's totally cool. I don't want you to, but what can I do? Shiny new toys. WikiLeaks reveals U.S. plan to give $147 million in military hardware to Yemen. This is the WikiLeaks today. WikiLeaks Yemen files. WikiLeaks has released hundreds of documents from the U.S. Embassy in Sana'a, Yemen, revealing details of America's multi-billion-dollar military support for the government of the volatile country. The Yemen files consist of more than 500 documents dating between 2009 and March 2015, covering both Hillary Clinton's term as Secretary of State and the first 2 years of John Kerry's term. And it's very interesting in terms of our involvement. So we are heavily involved. Nobody knows. We know, especially from the WikiLeaks release, just how much we're involved. A Department of Defense PowerPoint presentation dated August 2010, which is revealed in the dump, lays out a detailed plan for equipping the Yemeni government with arms through the U.S. Foreign Military Financing, FMF program, and other, quote, security assistance programs. And then it goes to the tweet, the Yemen files, evidence of the U.S. arming, training, and funding the Yemeni forces. Several slides warn against becoming trapped in an expensive cycle where the Yemeni government keeps buying and receiving, quote, shiny new toys. So, leading to mounting costs for the U.S. The expense of buying these shiny new toys is one thing, but the initial outlay is then followed by increasing expenses on the training, maintenance, and upgrade requiring to use them. The goal outlined in the document were to make Yemen, quote, a stable state where violent extremists cannot operate and to limit the regional impact of trafficking and piracy. The estimated goal of the cost of the weapons to be supplied to the Yemeni government is $147 million. Some $99 million of that was earmarked for, quote, counterterrorism aviation support. And it goes on to say, all the basically shiny new toys that Yemen was able to purchase. Another issue that I have with conservatives regarding the whole issue of Islam They say, well, Goodman, you're not worried about extremists? Well, we're funding governments in the Middle East, and we're sending so much. We're sending not only weaponry, whether it's the Clinton Foundation or whether it's information we find now from the Yemen files, in terms of human rights violations, and in terms of the most egregious type of foreign policy, we will go ahead and arm them to the teeth. Right and left don't care. That's a huge issue. And then we complain about immigrants or about the religion of Islam, but we don't have a problem selling Muslims weapons. That I find very interesting. We also have an issue with, well, there's a whole bunch of issues. Give me your thoughts below. The Yemen files, definitely check them out. They basically cover a whole bunch of information pertaining to how involved we are in a conflict that most Americans don't know enough about. I will leave the link below. Give me your thoughts. We have WikiLeaks Yemen files, and then we have also Jill Stein Recount, and a lot of things going on. There's left and right are friends in many ways. And whether it's Donald Trump giving $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation and Saudi Arabia giving 10 to 25 million to the Clinton Foundation, to my amazing subscribers, why would Saudi Arabia give 10 to 25 million? And how does that relate to the Yemen files, with Yemen then getting hundreds of millions in weapons? Doesn't Donald Trump know this? Does he care? So it's not just Pizzagate that he doesn't speak about. He certainly doesn't speak about the arms shipments to these countries. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.